you're also, I've seen and sat at your kitchen table and seen you have really powerful healing conversations. And I've seen people just leave so much better and so much, receive so much healing from the tenderness and the power of your conversations. And your kitchen table is one of my favorite places.
Good food.
That's really good food. And good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so grateful that you're here. And I wanted to ask you about your ideas about, I usually ask about real medicine and what real medicine means to you, what real medicine means. And this is a real medicine talk, but I really wanted to enter into that. And then I always like to enter with a prayer, Devona. And so I don't know if you might have a prayer that you would like to open with.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for having me. I've missed you. This social distancing, I know we won't see each other until probably later on in the year, but I've had all my classes online, and we kind of transcend, and other than giving hugs, virtual hugs to one another, and like in the classes, everyone, said, okay, hugs. Then what was really interesting, somebody posted, how many of you guys, after you finished your Zoom meetings, you wave? But when we're in person, we hug. So we have decided to wave instead of hugging. Isn't that interesting? How we adjust to the different venues that we have. Mm-hmm. So thank you for having me. It is good and gives me the opportunity to see you and to listen to you and to listen to others. Tongashila, ate wachantaka, tate dopa unshimaka. I want to pray for all of the people of the world, that we have find our way through this chaos to peace. When there is change, is chaos and then the peace. So we pray that we come to that ending. Pray for all the ones who are suffering and who have lost their lives but made the journey to the spirit world. Pray for all the children who have struggling at this time. Pray for all of the ones who have heartache, sadness, to lift them up. We chose on the woche for them, to help them and to strengthen them. And throughout the entire world, we focus here, Tonkashila, we pray for one another and pray for the world. Amitaki Wiyase.
Thank you, Devona. So we have had many conversations about, from neurodecolonization to healing poetry, to to teachers that have had a lot of meaning in our lives, and so I'm wondering, what is medicine to you, my friend? What do you think about?
We had spoke about this, and so one of the things that we need to be aware of is when people say medicine, like with your medicine talk, they have their own ideas, but because of cultural appropriations, many times people's concept then jumps immediately to something that has to be sacred, something that has to be very spiritual, something that has to be almost magical. But when we talk about, well, what is medicine? Let's look at the word itself. What is medicine? So me being old school, and I have to.
I love this.
So Okay. This is my book. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to share with you the definition of medicine. And as I'm sharing this with you, I want you to think about, as I'm reading it, oh, that's medicine to me, or that explains it better, or this. So listen to this, and then we will have them talk about that, okay? So medicine, the science and art of diagnosing, treating, curing, and preventing disease, relieving pain, and improving and preserving health. So that is kind of what we think about as medicine, and immediately we go to hospitals and clinics and we think of pills and those types, because then that's addressing some physical ailments.
Right.
The next one, the branch of this science and art, I like that word, and art, that makes use of drug or other substances, makes use of drugs, diet as distinguished from surgery and obstetrics. Okay, obstetrics. Did I say that? Obstetrics.
Yes.
So when we think of that, but they put the word art in there. I found that interesting, because this is the old Webster's, right? Mm-hmm. Number 3, any drug or other substances used in treating disease, healing, or relieving pain. A drug or other substance as poison, love potion, etc. Okay. And I thought, okay, used for other purposes. So that again. Now, among North American Indian peoples, any object, spell, rite, etc., supposed to have natural or supernatural powers as a remedy, prevention, protection, etc., magical power to give medicine, to treat medicinally, to endure just punishment, or accept the results of one's actions. As people would say, take one's medicine.
Wow.
So isn't that interesting? So when we think of a word and to look in here, and that they looked at the indigenous peoples' definition of medicine. So when I look at medicine and I think about each and every person, and so we're going to say whether the person is having difficulty emotionally, physically, what is medicine for them? Mm-hmm. Many times, unless we have a physical ailment that we need to go to the doctor, there's a lot of other pains that we have. So for the people, your definition of medicine belongs to you.
Right.
Char's definition of medicine belongs to her. Each person has their own definition, because what would be medicine for me might not be medicine for you. And I would say, do this, and you're going to feel better. So you do it. And you're thinking, well, I don't really feel better. Why? Okay. So when we're looking at it, you have to find your own. When you think of medicine, like what comes into your mind, take some time, sit and think of what is medicine to me, and write down what comes to mind. There's so many different things that are medicine. This, Minnie, is our first, we call it our first medicine, because this is what your body needs, water. That is the first medicine. Okay. Food is a medicine. Prayer is a medicine. Dancing is a medicine. Sleeping is a medicine. Watching a half an hour of your favorite show is a medicine. Anything that soothes you, that gives you that comfort and joy that you need. So what is good for me, I couldn't tell you, but I would have you find. And most of you know what it is, but you do not identify it as a medicine. That's what you need to do, is say, this is my medicine for whatever is, whether you're happy, we have medicine, right? You're sad, you're struggling, you have loss. There are many things in there. So we talk about medicine talks.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get ourselves boxed in this corner that these are the only things. You got to burn sage, you got to burn sweetgrass, you got to go to an epi, so then it encapsulates that in a very limited space. And so many people don't have those opportunities right now. If I say, okay, burn some sage, you feel better. And they say, well, I don't have any sage. Okay, that's a given, right? Well, go to a NEPA, you feel better. I don't have access to that. So you've been taking care of yourself throughout your life. You have been using your own medicine throughout your life. You just have never identified it. But you naturally go to it. You naturally call upon it. But if you are lost and you haven't identified it, or you don't have something to go through to help you in that, that is where you need to search. The ones who really, really struggle have not identified their own medicine in their everyday life, in the song they sing. My sister called me and we were talking about all the things that are happening and about Christianity. And so she said, what's really crazy is all those songs that we learned in this little, it wasn't a church, it was a church, but it was just people that come together to pray. She said they jump into my mind, and when I sing them, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, that is awesome. And so she said, my grandchildren were saying, like, you don't go to church. And she said, but I did go to church. And so song is really a strong, strong source of medicine. So when you're feeling sad, sing. It might fit you. And if it doesn't, dance. If that don't fit you, go for a walk. Drink some water. Watch a TV. Find your path. Find your medicine. Pick it up as you're on your travels through your own life. Find the things that soothe you. Okay.
Beautiful, Devona. As you're talking, I'm thinking about, one of the things I tell my students is, how, everything that we say is medicine, and how words are medicine, and how, and I also talk about how we're each medicine. So I think about how, I am actually medicine, and am I a hard pill to swallow? Am I an easy pill to swallow? Am I, and is what I'm saying, is what I'm doing medicine? Is what I'm saying, is it, and some medicine is hard to swallow, but makes us feel better, I mean, it's kind of like there's, advice or wisdom that is medicine also, I find. And, I have a counsel, you're part of my counsel, that I ask for wisdom. And I really see the wisdom of my counsel and my elders and some very dear close friends. I see that as medicine also. So I also see that wisdom is medicine, but I find that, there's things that need to be said oftentimes as someone who is a wisdom keeper that are very difficult to say, but that are still good medicine. and that may be hard to hear, but that are still good medicine. So I think, you know, I called it real medicine because I believe everyone carries medicine and carries that. But I also think about good medicine, you know, like how can it be good medicine? You know, the talking that we're doing, and how can it bring about positive change? So I'm wondering, you know, in this time where there is, where the voices are rising, you know, our voices are rising. And I know that this is a big part of your work. I mean, I remember when you first introduced me to, it's Michael Yellowbird's work. And the neurodecolonization work that he's.
Okay, yeah, the decolonization, yeah.
And you sent me that video and you're like, Char, this is, you know, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the thing, you know. But I really appreciated, you know, what he was talking about, and in our conversations about, you know, how do we turn things in a different direction? How do we, I don't know, come home to our own medicine, to what you were saying? You know, what is it that feels healing to you? You know, what is it that's helpful to you? I'm not sure if that's the direction, but I think that's an important question right now, especially in this time with, you know, Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and, you know, the work that is required of us at this time, and the conversation that is required of us at this time. So I'm wondering about a dose of medicine from you, my sister friend, about what are your views?
With everything that is going on, as individuals feel like, what can I do? How can I help the people to heal? There's a lot of pain. There's so many years of pain. And as I spoke to some of them, and they're angry about what they went through when they were young with racism. We look at all of the things that we've lost.
Yeah.
And that's a pain. This killing, there's been so many, dredged up all of the past injustices and pains that we just let go. We just put them to the side so we don't have to deal with them. And this brought them all up for many, many people. That's why there's so many. There's so many. Every state has protested. There was a protest in, awareness in Pine Ridge yesterday. Black Lives Matter here. For the people here whose lives have not mattered. For the ones to get out there too was strong. You always will have some of those negatives and coming in. So what do? What kind of medicine do we give? How do we help? And you believe in the power of prayer. You believe in positive energy. So you don't say, forget. You allow the ones who have that pain to walk through it. See, we always stifle them. We always,
stuff, yeah.
We don't want to feel your pain. So that's why at funerals and wakes, we say, don't cry. Everything's going to be all right. You'll be okay. All of the wrong words, because there's not the validation to experience that pain. So the medicine is allowing people to feel their pain, to walk through their fire. because that is the healing. Not to tell them, the ones who are, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of this. They don't want to touch someone else's pain. They don't want to touch their pain. So that is not allowing the healing. So all of this, as you said, is the medicine. So if people come to you and want to talk about it and you're tired of it, let them talk about it. Non-judgmental. No comparisons to anybody. Everyone's experience belongs to them.
Mm-hmm.
Their experience is unique. You can't say, well, you didn't have it that bad. This didn't happen. Mm-hmm. To validate everyone is medicine.
Mm. To validate everyone is medicine. And it's interesting, Devona, I think about, there's a saying by Rumi where he says, I think it's the cure for the pain is the pain, or the cure for the pain is in the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that has been something that has come to my mind in these recent days and in these last few weeks. I have also been thinking about that. And, I have this prayers for healing,
mm-hmm.
And I think about, when I think about medicine, I also think about healing. So, when I think about what is medicine, what is most healing, and I have a similar thing, you and I have a similar thing with the dictionary obsession. So I looked it up and I found that, it really means a wholeness, to be returned to wholeness. Mm-hmm. Is the etymology of it. And so I really feel that, these soul ruptures, these experiences that we've had of really, like you said, dismissing the pain or mm-hmm. not addressing and processing the pain, that our unwillingness to do that is just continued to deepen our wound. And so I think about, the mending of that. And I believe that a lot of it has to do with the remembering. There's this Joy Harjo, she's a poet laureate of the United States right now. And she wrote a piece called Remember. Do you know this piece?
Mm-hmm. Sounds familiar.
Oh God, it's so good. So can I read it?
Yes, please.
That would be great. It says, remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon and know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth and how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father, he is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are, red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth, we are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind, remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people and all people are you. Remember you are this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is, remember. Remember, copyright 1983 by Joy Harjo from She Had Some Horses. Some horses. And my friend, you're not going to believe it, but deer are walking through my yard right now as we speak. Like, oh, great spirit, good job on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've read Joseph Marshall III, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
And when he says, we walk sometimes, let me get that so I'll make sure I say it this correctly. And it's usually, oh, there it is. I'm in my office, you know, let me see. Yeah, I just had it. Actually, I had to order a couple more because somebody was going through a hard time. Oh, so I gave them the book and then they never return it. So you've read him, right?
Yes. Oh,
okay. You know, so when someone is going through a hard time, there is, you know, a young man asked his grandfather why life had to be so difficult sometimes. This was his grandpa's reply. In life, there is sadness as well as joy, losing as well as winning, falling as well as standing, hunger as well as plenty, badness as well as goodness. I did not say this to make you despair, but to teach you reality. Life is a journey, sometimes walked in light, sometimes in shadow. So, you know, for me, it's like this, you did not ask to be born, but you are here. You have weaknesses as well as strengths. You have both, because in life there is two of everything. Within you is the will to win as well as the willingness to lose. Within you is the heart to feel compassion as well as a smallness to be arrogant. Within you is the way to face life as well as the fear to turn away from this. Life can give you strength. Strength can come from facing the storms of life, from knowing loss, feeling sadness and heartache, from falling into the depths of grief. You must stand up in the storm. You must face the wind and the cold and the darkness. When the storm blows hard, you must stand firm, for it is not trying to knock you down. It is really trying to teach you to be strong. Being strong means taking one more step towards the top of the hill, no matter how weary you may be. It means letting the tears flow through the grief. It means to keep looking for the answer through the darkness of despair is all around you. Being strong means to cling to hope for one more heartbeat, one more sunrise. Each step, no matter how difficult, is one more step closer to the top of the hill. To keep hope alive for one more heartbeat at a time leads to the light of the next sunrise and the promise of a new day. And that is medicine.
And that is medicine.
Words of knowledge, of encouragement, encompasses everything. Knowledge, encouragement, compassion. So reading or hearing someone to help guide you is medicine.
Thank you, my friend. Are there any other closing words or things that you would like to share before we close our time? And I also have a poem that I thought of as you were in my own meditations, but I'm so happy I get to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's very powerful. But, you know, in that journey to wholeness, is there anything else you would like to say?
One thing for everyone is to love yourself. To love every part of you. Your good thoughts, your bad thoughts, your anger, your happiness. Love all of you. Embrace yourself.
Beautiful.
That is it.
Thank you. Thank you, Devona. And so I'm so grateful, and I would like to read this poem to close, if that works for you.
Yes, please.
This is by Mark Nepo. through the great pain of stretching beyond all that pain has taught me. The soft well at the base has opened, and life touching me there has turned me into a flower that prays for rain. Now I understand to blossom is to pray, to wilt and shed is to pray, to turn to mulch is to pray, to stretch in the dark is to pray, to break the surface after great months of ice is to pray, and to squeeze love up the stocky center toward the sky with only dreams of color is to pray. And finally, to unfold again as if never before is to be the prayer, is to be the prayer. And that's by Mark Nepo. And I am so grateful for our time. Thank you, Devona. Would you like to do a closing prayer or?
You can do the closing prayer.
Great and beautiful mystery. I thank you for this human being in the world and in my life. And may you care for us all. May you care for her and her family and our Wanagi Oyate family at this time. Please care for us, carry us, but especially great mystery. May we experience whatever healing is necessary, and may we all become real medicine, whatever that means for us as individuals, so that we can restore our wholeness. Aho, amen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
So much. Thank you. It's my honor, Devona. And thank you for being with us today.
Yeah. Hugs and
hugs. We have our virtuals. Yeah, we have virtuals.